words we all greet each other, one another with. This is a very important day, National Integration Day. Not only is the eve of Madam Gandhi's birthday, let me just talk briefly about Madam Gandhi before I proceed to talk about national integration and its importance and the challenge our nation is facing today. I firmly believe when future leaders are born, they are destined to do good not only for their own community, in their own faith, in their own nation, along with the party she belonged to. Even though she was the daughter of an eminent international personality, but raise our flag, but to show the world that as a nation we can function, and as a nation we can stand together and meet the challenges of those days and the future. And the remarkable thing she did was, when she was a Prime Minister, as we all know, most of India comprises of rural areas where the farmers are. And they are the ones who cultivate the land and feed us, and they keep the nation going. And they were facing tremendous problems, the farmers, poor farmers. Farmers are not rich even today. Just imagine the days when she was the Prime Minister. So she, of course, she nationalized a few things, among them some banks. But their agenda, their mandate she gave, that they should open banks in the rural areas. Just imagine how critical it was. Here we are in the city, we enjoy the luxury, whether the good times or bad times we still have. We have the electricity, we have the water, whether it comes every day or other day or 2 days or 3 days or whatever. Before the banks started opening in rural India, the farmers had to go to the money lenders. And those of us who have some experience with the money lenders, of course they do come at the time of our need, but also they have a motive to earn more money, to extract more money. So the poor farmers, to sow their fields, they had to go to the money lenders. Just imagine, to sow the fields, to feed the nation, they had to go to the local money lenders, and they will lend the money, and for the labor they have to pay again from the borrowed money, and to harvest the crop they had to go to the money lenders to harvest the crop, and while they sell it, they had to pay it back to the money lenders, all the money, with very little left just for subsistence, just to survive for the farmer and his family. So that's an incredible thing she did, and we must recognize that. And she's the pioneer behind it. And we have a very good group of panels on the dais, dignitaries on the dais. My good friend Purushottam Reddy Sahab is here. He's a true friend of our environment. And next to him is Mr. Vikhar, editor of Rahnamai Dakkan. And next to him is Honorable Justice Vaman Rao Sahab. And next to him is Dr. Tirupati Rao, who was the former Vice Chancellor of Osmania University and my friend Rasimbu. With that introduction, I'll say, most of us, 100 rupees, 175. And Subedar Amir Ali Khan, my father, he founded the All India Organization of Pensioners. He used to visit Delhi and meet Madam Gandhi and the rest of the cabinet. And she was very sympathetic towards them. And those of you who have received the cards on the website, the Peace Foundation website, you should visit and see what contributions she made and the Pensioners Association made because of a realistic approach towards solving the problems of the pensioners. Today pensioners are protected. Eventually, to maintain the unity of our nation, whether you call it a controversial decision or not, whether it's the ceiling or nationalization, or bringing the situation under control, whether you call it a controversial or not, her actions were needed, and unfortunately She had to pay for her life, with her life, for taking certain bold measures. And I fully understand the feelings. Believe me, as a minority in this nation, as a Muslim living in this nation, or who belong to this nation, now I'm a dual citizen of the United States of America as well as of India. And सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा, हम हिंदी वतन में सारा करना चाहिए. But doing something for Mother India. Mother India now integrated. You are already doing it, but you will continue to do more so. I firmly believe in that. As I was saying, negative forces, the challenge and the danger India is facing is within India, within its boundaries, and within its states. India is imperative, it's a must, it's a need of our times, along with all the progress India is making with the rest of the world. By the way, we are making a lot of progress and we should be proud of it. But in this one arena of integration, they are in a very important position, some of them. They attract a lot of media attention. So friends from the press, I appeal to you that we should send frequently a message of peace and integrity. Like the previous room, I think the lady in Burkha, she was talking about the four forces which our nation is facing. Communalism. You know that what communalism is. You don't have to be a majority Hindu or a minority Sikh or a minority Christian or a minority Muslim or a Parsi. As a human being, we are Indians first. Then we belong to the various faiths. Of course, we have a firm belief in our faith. That dominates our mind, that dominates our spirit, that brings our children day after day after day after. And not only they put it into practice sometimes and they excite the crowd in the name of religion. It is the easiest thing to mobilize people to against another community or another religion, is to use the religion. And that use of the religion should be banned, especially when it comes to inciting the hoodlums and the thugs of this nation. We can do that. We can handle communalism. And another thing is regionalism, like supported. Why we are having problems within states, within this nation? Of course, this nation has hundreds of languages, thousands of dialects. At least I believe, Justice Verma, there are 21 languages which the Constitution recognizes. Then, in Unite India, or to divide based on linguism. And to draw the lines and the boundaries and say, oh, he's a Telugu speaking, or he's a Urdu speaking, or he's a Punjabi speaking, or he's a Kannadi or Marathi or whatnot and what else. Why? So linguism has been used to divide, to create problems within the regions and within the nation. Now, you can say, all right, Andhra, all Telugu speaking people, why they are asking for Telangana? That's a valid question, isn't it? I say Telugu Talli, JJ, Gandhi, Tata of Telangana. So the people of Telangana had enough. So they said, we may be speaking the same language or same religion or same faith or same principles. Talk about principles, I think it's a long topic. We have to adhere to the principles, and principles are vanishing, the values are vanishing anyhow. They ignored the people, their needs, their institutions. So they are saying, what we want is a better life. And I think that's a reasonable expectation. If you deprive me of quality of life within my own region, and you benefit and you siphon whatever they are doing, just like the Britishers. We don't have any institutions, we don't have proper infrastructure, so on and so forth. Regardless of what they did, but they had done a lot of good work. So that's why we are having problems within the region and the nation, my friends. But the community, now the answer is education is the answer? Yes, education is the answer in uniting our mighty nation. Is a single language our answer in uniting this mighty nation? Yes. We must understand this is an era of globalization. Am I having the attention? Can you all hear me? Keeps our nation united. English is the language which keeps us united. Urdu is a beautiful language. इसमें कोई सवाल ही नहीं है. तेलुगु ऐसी जबान है जिसको इटालियन ऑफ द ईस्ट कहा जाता है. मगर हकीकत क्या है इस वक्त दुनिया की? इज्जत है जो इस्लामी तौर और तरीके पे जो लिबास पहनते हैं. मगर इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम अपने आप को महदूद कर दें एक जबान में, और हमारे मिलने जुलने में अगर हम सब नहीं मिलेंगे, नहीं उठेंगे साथ, और कि हम लोगों के स्कूल में अंग्रेजी की तरफ तवज्जो दी जा रही है. और एक मैं बात जरूर कहूंगा आप सबसे कि हमारे बच्चों पर इतना बोझ, इसमें रिफॉर्म्स आना चाहिए. We need reforms when it comes to education. We are burdening our children, my friends, with too many languages. The little kids who live in my house, the 4 children, they are extremely bright. Their age from 4 years to 7 years to 9 years. They carry heavy loads of bags. And when they come home, sometimes I do ask them what they are doing. Instead of spending time on mathematics, English, and one language, and science, the higher schools I'm talking about, not the 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, or physics, or chemistry, or botany, or biology, they are spending more time learning Hindi, Urdu, Telugu, English, and on top of it probably some other language, Sanskrit. Where are the brains? Why are we burdening these children? They are spending their awakening hours worried about languages. These are beautiful languages. Why are we using them to take their potential, their attention away from nation building? Give them one language for God's sake, and optional other languages, teach them. But don't try to teach them as if we're trying to make scholars out of that language, or proficient in that language, as long as they have the ability to speak and write a little bit, or history or geography for that matter, or integration. So it's extremely important. There are so many things I would like to touch, but because of the time, I will not go into further detail. But let me just again emphasize, what is the challenge? Casteism, another one. The 3,000 castes. As if our religions are not enough to exploit, I'm sure among my Sikh brothers here, there are some affiliations. In the Muslims, look at this crazies. If a Sunni is Pathan or a Sheikh or Sayyid, they'll find a difference. They'll find a reason to argue and create headaches. So Hinduism also, the nation, when I talk about this, I'm talking about the challenges our nation is facing today. Have to handle, we are all born equal. For God's sake, use the word social class if you want. Remove the word caste. And restore the dignity to the people and the respect they deserve. It's their birthright. If we don't do that, let me caution you, I mean it. Our people will. He's an educated man. He understands the climate of this nation. of this world better than most of us. I'm telling to my Hindu brothers, when I say people will find options and the choices, the message is clear. To get out of this caste system, the issue of Madam Gandhi's eve of birth, that we remember that we belong to one nation and we are together in building this nation. And nation building, these are, in conclusion, I'll say, my friends, I'm going to conclude in a minute, unless the teachers, from primary to middle to high school to college, etc., the universities. Integration. Then the people we associate. And the people we go out to work with in the offices. And the people who are in the same profession. They interact with. And the society as a whole. Nation building, it needs thousands of units, and they have to come together as a whole. Sometimes there may be some disruption here and there, and they may try to create some imbalance in nation building. But it's extremely important. It is extremely important to all of us, as Sikhs, Christians, Parsis, Hindus, Muslims, and even those who don't believe in, or believe in something but not the prophets, etc., that we have to come together. So I request all you students, you have a very bright future. Now how you handle your future, or what you make of this future, is in your hand. And this foundation will not progress, nor any effort of any individuals will not progress, or this nation will not progress. And peace and harmony will not come to this world unless and until all of us work together and condemn, like what I call it, a venomous rhetoric which we hear. That you have an important role in bringing.
Thank you, Honorable Sir. He suggested many things for the upliftment of the united India, especially for the youth generation. Thanks, sir. I request Mrs. U.